couple of years ago, I got to go to Spain, and it was amazing. We got to see a ton of great places, and I got to meet a bunch of other creative people that I was writing with on medium.com. And when I got there, and I'd been writing for a while at this point, and I think I had written 200 articles by the time this had happened. And when I got there, I was, talking with the people that I, was meeting with, and I was kind of jet lagged. And so I remember pacing around. We were in this villa in the countryside in Spain, and I would pace around back and forth while we were talking, and I had to apologize. Like, I'm sorry guys, I gotta stay awake so that I can get used to the time here. And they didn't mind a ton, and I love walking anyway, because I've always had a Fitbit, or now I have a Garmin, because Garmin's way better than Fitbit. But as I was pacing around, I remember very distinctly one of the guys said, and it sounded like an insult at first, but I didn't actually take it that way. He said, you're better in person. And I was like, at first, maybe part of me was like, wait, what? But then very quickly, I realized, I was like, no, there's a compliment inside of this. And I realized what he was really saying is, like, you're really, really good in person. Like, you're really personable and energetic, and you have a lot of great ideas. And he continued to express to me, like, it's hard for that to come through in your writing. And I had felt that. I'd written 200 articles, and I was still feeling like, I'm having my personality is, it's a struggle for me to get my personality out, even through my writing, even though I'd had that much experience. So I didn't take it as an insult at all. I took it as a compliment. And I mean, even as a way for me to get my writing, to improve my writing as well, which I definitely wanted to do. But then he also said, you'd be great on YouTube. And that's really why I'm here, because, and this is my first, well, kind of my second. I actually created a YouTube video for another channel, for another project. Well, that's another story, but this is my first YouTube video ever. And why I'm here is because I kind of had the idea that I would really love to have a space that I can just create in, which is what medium.com was for me when I started writing. There's so much resistance in our minds when we start to create that it gets hard to just start and to stay consistent, which is really the only way to succeed. You see, all of the great people, all of the great YouTubers that you know, all of the people that you follow, they have a lot of things in common, but one of those is they just have a lot of content. One thing that always inspires me is if you go back to their first videos or posts or whatever, they're always kind of awful. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I've seen the first video of Sean Cannell, for example. And Sean, if you're watching this or if you ever see it, no offense here at all, but he showed the video the other day in a challenge, a YouTube challenge that he's putting on right now. And it was just low energy. And, I think the sound in the video were actually fairly good. Nothing like what he's got now. But then I remember seeing the similar thing with, Pat Flynn. And then also, if you see Mr. Beast's first videos even, it's kind of the same thing. And it's just so inspiring to me every time I watch those, because I just think, that's where they started, and that's where I'm at now. But then I look at, like, I've invested all of this in this, this background, and I've got a DSLR, and I've got my mic, and I'm like, why am I not doing this? And I realize there's just so much resistance because we love to learn and we love to do things right. We want to do things the right way. We're constantly told, oh, if you don't do this, you're never going to go anywhere on YouTube. But I think the one thing that they always miss, there's always kind of just one thing that if we got it right, everything else would fall into place. That's the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. That's the main idea of the book. What is the one thing that if you did that would make everything else irrelevant or unnecessary? And I really believe that for creatives, that one thing is creating, is just getting started, is getting rid of that resistance and saying, no, I don't care. Even though I know that I'm supposed to do a great thumbnail for this video, and I'm supposed to edit this video, and I'm supposed to not say all of these things, get rid of that, forget it, just start. When I was getting started on medium.com, I had actually known about the platform for about 9 months, and I was really excited. I really felt like writing was gonna be my thing, and it still is. I still love writing, don't get me wrong. But as I was getting started, I kept feeling like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to write good articles. And as with anything, you're like, I want to be good. You always want to be good right away, right? That inner perfectionism is just, it kills us. It kills us all the time. And it was killing me with this. And it never seems to go away, by the way. It just always is, it's still there for me, which is why I'm making this video. Part of the reason is so that I'm just starting. But I emailed a top writer on Medium, and I said, what advice would you have? And he sent an email back, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, whoa, like, you're really cool. Like, and you sent me an email. And all he said, he just said, just start. That was it. And he said a few other things in the email, you know, and whatnot. And, but that was the only advice he gave me. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? He's right. There was nothing that I believed about just starting, about writing, about even now YouTube, about anything, nothing that I believed that was a good enough reason to not just start. And in my head, my brain would constantly keep coming up with ideas of, oh, well, you got to do this, or you got to do that, or you got to do this first, or you got to do that first. And no, not a single one of them is a good enough reason. Like, I just bumped the mic, okay? And I said a whole bunch of times. And there's probably plenty of parts of this video that I really should cut out if I was gonna edit it. But the really most important thing here is you have to just start to get anywhere in life and just about anything. And a lot of times that means starting before you think you're completely ready. Even starting before you have acquired the skills and the practice necessary to perform at an elite level. And like for things like YouTube and writing, the kind of elite level that actually gets you seen. So honestly, this video, I don't know if anybody will see it, but I don't care because it's in my creativity bucket. Other videos maybe I'll make to try to be more, oh, this is search, you know, searchability and recommendability and all these different things that I want them to rank and I want them to do well. But this, my first YouTube video ever, this is about practice. And that's why I'm going to make one of these every single day as often as long as I can. When I first started writing, I had committed to 18 months because there was something going on in my life that was, there was a distinct start date and a distinct end date, and that was 18 months. But right now we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But I just love the idea of creating this space for myself to be able to create whatever I want without judgment, without any, I don't have to create anything super fantastic. I don't have to be perfect. I can bump the mic if I want to. I can make mistakes. My kids can be yelling in the background. They aren't right now, but they were a minute ago, and they might be in other videos. And I was hoping for this to be short, but it's got a lot longer than I thought it would be. But my point is that if you're a creative like me and you're struggling to get started, just start. There's not a single thing that any expert in the field has said that will ever be a good enough reason for you to wait to start. Just start. You're going to need the practice. And that's the other thing too, is you're not going to learn how to tell great stories or be energetic on camera or any of that stuff until you start. You're not going to get the information on what kind of videos and what kind of expressions, what kind of content people actually want until you just start. And so that's why I'm here today, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just starting, and I'm going to practice, and I'm going to see where this goes. And if you're watching, feel free to follow along with my journey, and I'm going to publish every day. Maybe I'll be out of town, maybe I won't be able to publish, but hopefully I'll publish the day before, or I'll record a video and publish it later. But this is my commitment to staying consistent. And I couldn't be more excited, and I actually hope that my friend will end up being right, that I will be better on YouTube than I was at writing, or am at writing. I still write plenty, and I still love writing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this challenge, and I'm going to challenge myself to see how much I can do.